Hi, my name is Dorothy Carlos, and I am going to talk about how my husband, Hassan, and I met. It all started when I moved state from Adelaide to Perth. I graduated year 12 and on fire with Jesus. Being new to the state, I wanted somebody to show me a church that I could join in. So, Hassan's friend messaged me on social media out of nowhere, and I wasn't interested in him because that wasn't my purpose back then, to be dating and all that. Then I saw Hassan's profile on his friend's post since he was tagged, and he had a Bible verse on his bio, and I knew right then that we share the same faith. So I took the courage to message him and ask him, "Hi, sorry for the bother, but just wondering, which church do you go to?" It all started from there, and he showed me different churches until we started talking, and he was asking me out for about 4 to 5 months until I said yes to be his girlfriend on April 2, 2021. Then a year later, we got engaged on the same date, April 2, 2022, and a year after our engagement, we got married on the same date, April 2, 2023. What we learned in our marriage. My husband and I are almost 3 years in our marriage now. I got married at the age of 20 and my husband was 22. Being a young adult taking a leap of faith in marriage was not easy at all. We had been judged by many, including the people closest to us, that we wouldn't last long and that we were too young to know what marriage is. But my husband and I were holding on to the hand of Jesus, that I always prayed to God, and I said, "Lord, since you gave me a lot of confirmation that my husband is the man that you prepared for me, that you should be the center of my marriage, that your favor will show upon our lives of how faithful you are to those who obey you." To those of you who doesn't know, my husband is my first in everything. My first boyfriend. When I say everything, I mean everything. I never supported premarital sex, but because of temptations, we keep on falling for it. While we were dating and during engagement, not until during our wedding planning, we stood firm to obey God, and we said not to fall into temptation until we make a vow before Him in the altar. Falling into sin a lot before marriage was the deepest pill that my husband and I have to swallow. It brings open doors that is not from God. It brings strongholds. And if you leave it and you don't renounce any of it before God, it will creep inside your marriage. The hurt, the pain, the sufferings, the tears. Our first year of marriage was the most difficult part of our marriage. A lot of adjustments, setting boundaries, especially to those people who hurt us, navigating the marriage life together until we were so focused on us that we forgot to focus on God. I was struggling to submit because I have been independent my whole life, and that I never really rely on anyone but God. Then the Lord reminded me, and He said, "Dorothy, obedience is better than sacrifice. You have to carry your part of the cross, and your husband will carry his part of the cross." It really shifted a lot in our marriage, especially the moment I submitted and surrendered to God, and I submitted towards my husband. We have renounced all the pain, guilt, past, especially for falling into temptation a lot before marriage. Then God worked on my husband to be a great leader of our marriage. If there's one thing that my husband and I have learned, is that if you want to be like Jesus, then staying married is the only way. You will never really know your true self until you get married. Your spouse will help you see all the ways that you are not like Christ yet. So that person that God ordained for you to be with exists to make you closer to Jesus. And marriage will never work if you don't play your part like how God instructed you in His Word. My advice to anyone who just got married is that marriage is such a beautiful gift from God. To be able to spend time with your spouse, creating memories and achieving milestones together is so beautiful. My advice is that never allow families or friends to interfere your marriage. Set healthy boundaries. Tithe faithfully, especially in the area of marriage. You will deal with finances the most. But when you give the 10% that belongs to the Lord, it shifts a lot in the area of your finances in marriage. Keep Jesus as the center of your marriage. If things go south, remind yourself why you got married in the first place. Remind your purpose. Remind yourself. Your spouse and you will never stop learning from each other. You both will never stop growing. And that's the beauty of it, because you will recognize things about yourself of how to be like Jesus every day. Most successful marriages are those who die in themselves to be more like Jesus every day. And to those who are planning to get married, planning is one of the hardest part of preparation. I advise to seek for counseling, as my husband and I never had that. Never be scared to get married. It's not scary, especially if God promised you that person. You will get attacks. You will encounter people who are against your plans of getting married. And that's all normal as it unfolds the people who is truly there for you. It's part of God's preparation to know who to go to. It's part of His preparation of who believes and obeys His word. It says in His word in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Marriage is the perfect example of how to be like Christ. It's also the best example of how you carry your cross daily. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. God bless us all.